Hello, hi, nice to see everyone again. We're here, and as promised, we have made our buñuelos, our shortcut to buñuelos. And here's Elva, who helped me in the kitchen.
That's right.
So we're going to talk a little bit about that, and then we're going to go on to something a little more serious. But
Yes.
Here we go.
So there's two methods of making buñuelos, and that's obviously a homemade from scratch using flour.
Probably the authentic way, but
right.
however,
definitely. A little bit different than making tortillas. It has a little bit different of a recipe, and we didn't choose to do that this time because we're a little short on time. So this time what we did is we took store-bought tortillas and we deep fried them. And we're going to insert a little bit of video so you can actually see that happening, but this is the final product. We cut the tortilla in half so you could see that it's half the size of a regular tortilla. You know, a lot of times you use the whole tortilla. And then we added a little cinnamon sugar. When I grew up, we just added sugar to it. But this is cinnamon sugar.
Yeah, so when I grew up, we added cinnamon sugar.
Oh, you did? Okay.
But this is a shortcut, and I think you're going to like them because, you know, those of us that have families and we're busy and we're trying to hurry and this and that, I mean, this is like the simplest way to do it. You just get home, grab that pack of tortillas or your tortillas that you made homemade, which I hope you did, but we did not. But,
no.
So because we were out all day and we just got all kinds of things happen today. But anyway, so we just kind of cut them in half and then we deep fried them. And like Elva said,
they're kind of crispy.
Yeah, they're crunchy and they're good. They're actually really good. They're going to remind you of your abuelitas buñuelos, and you're going to enjoy them. You really are. And your kids will enjoy them as well.
You can also, like I said, just add sugar to it. You could also do a little bit of, I was going to say powdered sugar, but that's not right. It's a little bit of like whipped cream on top of them if you want to make them a little more, you know, something a little more dessert-ish presentation-wise. You could probably add some fruit to it too if you want to make it a little bit more healthy, I guess.
Yeah, I've never had them like that, but I mean, this
I
is
like them warm.
Yeah,
warm
and warm. They are warm right now because we just made them this second. So they're very tasty. I've already eaten one, but I'm gonna eat another one. So
yeah, they're a little crispy, but they're really good. They're a good little traditional Mexican dessert. So they're good. Cheers to
cheers.
Cheers.
Salud.
Cheers to you. Well, we definitely enjoyed making these, and we hope you'll try them at home as well. But we thought we'd spend a little bit more time. We had some comments that talked about losing loved ones and how you go about handling the holidays with a loved one that's been passed. So, as we mentioned last time, Nora lost her parents many years ago. And so I've leaned upon her since we recently lost our mom. And you know, I've asked her the questions like, does it get easier? How do you deal with the birthdays and the holidays that come around and that person's not in our lives anymore? And so that's kind of what our video today was going to be a little bit about, talking about that.
Yeah, especially like Elva said, that, you know, you both, you know, some people touched upon this in our comment section. And so we want to kind of address this and let you know that we know what you're going through. Because we've been there. Unfortunately, you know, it's life. And this is one of the things that we have to go through. And we know how it feels. And it's very easy to say, just get over it. But it's not so easy to do. And we all deal with it differently. And we have to understand others that deal with it differently. And some of us are faster to get, you know, through it and move on. And some of us are not. Yeah,
and we were talking with someone today who lost a brother at a very young age, and and we were talking about the pain that, you know, every birthday, and maybe somebody doesn't know that person's going through some pain remembering them on their birthday or something, but maybe you don't always want to talk about it and saying, well, today is my brother's birthday who's passed, but maybe you can figure out ways to kind of help that person before that time comes. Like if you know that their mother, her father or brother or sister has passed, and or is very ill even. I know that sending food to somebody's house really meant something to us. We spent about 5 days with my mom. We put chairs all in her room around her bed and spent those 5 days in, you know, prayer, in conversation, in laughter, in sadness. And even though we weren't sure if she knew that we were actually doing this for her,
We hope that she did.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
we would whisper to her in her ears, because they do say that the hearing is one of the last things to go. So it's important, if you have a loved one that's going through a terrible illness or is in hospice, that you remember that you can still whisper to them in their ear and they can still hear you, and they'll, it's like you're communicating with them, even if they cannot communicate back with you.
Yeah, exactly. But I think the family and friends that shared text messages, or like I said, brought a dish over so we didn't have to worry about what we were going to make, even though we didn't really feel like eating during that time. It's important that we had stopped and had a quick meal or something, and then went back to spending time with the last few minutes with her. But I think that's something that we can pick up and do for each other more often, that if you know of an individual's either sick, or has a family member sick, or even that they've gone through some surgery or something, taking some type of care package to their family members. So that's one way of showing support.
Absolutely. And don't forget about them, because even though they're going through this hard time and you may feel like, well, I don't want to impose, there's things going on. You'd be surprised that people really appreciate when you come over, because they're having it's easy to come over and visit someone when times are happy.
Yeah.
But when times are sad, it makes it much more difficult. But those families, those friends, they appreciate it so much more when you're there for them when times are difficult.
Right. Well, and I think that's exactly what happens when your loved one is passed. Then everybody kind of pulls back, because they don't want to bother you during your time. But you feel like you're on an island all by yourself. Even though I had family, I had sisters surrounding me, and husband and others, but I think it was still it was kind of sad that friends didn't reach out, and you felt like, did they not care? Were they just too busy with their own lives, and so now I realize that it would have been nice just to get a little bit more, for us to have a little bit more contact with people from the outside, just to hear those messages, like, we care, we know that you're going through a tough time, and I want to do that for others that that are going through tough times as well.
That is so true, because a lot of times you feel like, well, you don't want to bother people, as I was mentioning, but the people that are going through this, that are watching someone pass or someone in hospice, they so appreciate it, because they feel like, wow, you actually took the time out of your life to come over during the holidays, and when everyone is celebrating, to come over and talk with us, or hold our hand, or say a prayer, or whatever. But it does make a difference.
Yeah, I think one of the things that people tend to say is, well, let me know how I can help you. And you're like, I have no idea. This is something we're going through. We don't know how you can help us. Instead of saying that, just do something.
Yes.
Just do something.
Yes.
Don't wait for them to tell you. Because there are people like myself that would never ask anybody to help them. I would never call somebody and say, I need you to do this. No. That feels very wrong to me. Now, if someone does it for me, I'm going to be appreciative that they did it out of the goodness of their own heart. I'm not going to ask them to bake me food, bring me some food. No, I won't.
Yeah, but it's so true.
I think I think that's important. I think that we're all. I think that it is another area that we talked about was making sure that we make our own funeral arrangements in advance, so we don't leave our children with such a heavy obligation.
Yes, we did talk about that today.
Yeah. My dad died suddenly, and we were not prepared to do that, and that was over 20 years ago. And then even our mom did not die suddenly. We knew the last few days that it was coming to an end. We still weren't prepared to make those decisions, or did we want to?
No.
So it's so important that we do that ourselves. And this is a heavy conversation and somber, but so many people are dealing with this. And we heard so many comments from not only messages, but also family and friends that we talked about, that we were talking about this with. And everybody really struggles with it. So we felt like it was a good time to really talk about what are things we can all do and, help each other to get through difficult times.
And not only that, but to try and move forward, and, every day brings a new day, and you need to think about new traditions. Perhaps you shared certain traditions with your family or with that loved one that may have passed. Start new traditions, whether it be to visit that person at the gravesite or whatever that might be, but just new traditions.
Yeah,
and
share
being
photos
together,
with them,
sharing photos, talking about them.
You laugh that they did, or something that
if you have home videos or something, that's the best, right? Talking about that. We even talked about there's something that you can buy, right? that we
Yes.
mentioned, where you can, like somebody who's like older that you may know, that can actually set up like an audio
Yeah.
of like different questions that they have
Yeah.
and go through their lives in that, and then it's created into or put together in a book. Is that
In a
right?
book, right? It gathers their stories. So there are leading questions that say, "Tell me about your first love. Tell me about the best vacation you ever had." Something like that.
Wouldn't that be awesome? Because you know, once we get older and we pass, I mean, like our children are not going to know who your first love was. You know, nobody would know who my first love was. So you know, it would be so nice for them to be able to remember that and you know, look at that and for years to come. So that's something that you can start as a new tradition.
I think, and also just finding a group of people that have walked this walk this experience yourself, and maybe it's their church, maybe it's through somebody you work with, maybe it's us. You know, you just reach out to us.
Yes.
But I like I said, I definitely leaned on her because I said, "How do you do?" And she said, "Just one day at a time, 1 foot forward at a time." And it hasn't been easy, but it's where we are. So
you just keep moving forward. That's all we can do.
And most people care, and most people know. A lot of people have gone through this. So I think that's important too. I think that when we talk, and I have found myself in a state of depression and sadness at different times, and then I have to stop and think, you know what? Everybody goes through a state of depression and sadness at some point in time of their life, whether it's regarding a loved one that passes or not. But the truth of the matter is, it will pass, and time heals all wounds. Everything passes, you know, as everything will change and evolve and all that. So time is the most important thing, to give everything time.
And although we don't forget, and we don't want to forget that person because they were important to our lives, you know, obviously, but it is important to move on because we have other people depending on us, you know, other areas of our life that we need to continue. So that's also very important.
Yeah. And just continue to seek help and support for yourself.
Yes.
Some people see counselors or, you know, have to do therapy and all that to get through difficult times. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Or if you have your priest, your pastor, you know, whoever you may be, you know, wanting to talk to or comfortable to talk with, or a friend, you know, that's very important too, because that helps so much. It lifts a weight off of your chest.
Well, wine helps too.
And wine also.
Cheers! Mine's Diet Coke today. But,
no, it's not. It's mine.
It's Diet Coke.
She told you yesterday. She drinks the cocktails and then she drinks the wine, the red wine. So, okay.
Well, we actually went to a very nice Italian restaurant just a little while ago for lunch.
Yes, and we met somebody from Scotland.
Yeah, he's from Scotland. And, you know, just reminds me every time we meet someone new from somewhere else that we're all, you know, going through similar things at the same time, even though we don't look like each other and we didn't sound like each other. But we were all kind of going through the same thing. So yes, I had a glass of wine there at the restaurant. So
or two.
Now I'm on Diet Coke. So, but anyway, yes, a long subject, but it's a deep subject, and we may address it every time we talk. We don't know. We just really feel like everyone's struggling with this topic, and we want to be there to continue to talk about it.
Yes.
Research it. I mean, I'm definitely a researcher at heart, so I'll continue to look for things that what other people do, say, and you know, communicate that too. So. And
I mean, in general, the world has just come off of, you know, a terrible time with COVID, and we're all still kind of feeling that. So we know that state. I know I definitely went through it, you know, feeling, you know, really, really sad. I don't know if it was a deep depression, but I was really, really sad. I live alone. I have my 2 dogs, but it's not the same as when you have contact with individuals, with coworkers, with friends and that. So if that happens to you, I know it was very difficult, like I said, for me. So I feel like I've overcome that, but with help. You know, it's been help from, you know, my son that came to stay with me, and that helped me tremendously, you know, from Elva, just talking to her on the phone. You know, she's far away from me, but, you know, right now we're together, so I'm happy about that. Right, and I think that's kind of been the takeaway from COVID is a lot of people got the opportunity to work from home. And I enjoy working from home, but I miss having an office to go to and friends to talk to at work and going to lunch for an hour or 2 hours in the middle of the day. I think that a lot of our lives have really shifted to be quite lonely. Although, you know, just because you're home alone doesn't mean you're lonely, but you can identify there's times where you feel lonely. And I think you have to look for circles of friends that kind of lift you out of that. I wouldn't say that I have a large number of friends, but the friends I have are good friends, and I know I can text or,
sisters and
Yes,
you.
absolutely. And
And
you
husband.
know, yeah, absolutely. And
Listen.
please continue to send us your comments because I really appreciated that because I could tell that, you were really listening and you could feel what we were feeling. And so that made like a big difference in our lives. So we want to answer those comments,
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But we want to thank you so much. Thank you
And
so
we
much
love-
for listening.
Yeah, we are really, we're looking for this opportunity to talk directly to people, just because we feel like there's an emptiness out there, and sometimes we watch a lot of content, or I watch a lot of content sometimes, and it's fun and it's interesting to see people that live in Paris or whatever, but I want to really relate to people. I want us to really be able to talk directly to you, and I want you to talk to us. And maybe it's just become, maybe this is a friendship channel more than anything else.
Yeah, and there's other things that we'll be talking about. We'll go a little further into. We've talked about makeup, and we always kind of go back to makeup, I guess. And hair and things like that, and just like I was telling Elva this weekend, I didn't have time to get to my hairdresser, so all my gray hair is showing, so I bought that little spray. I went to Walgreens and sprayed my hair. Hey, it does work. So I don't think you
missed a few pieces
I did.
right here.
Yeah.
But okay, so don't show that.
Yeah. So I won't turn around, but
well, and what's hard too as we get older. I mean, we are constantly realizing that we're not 20 anymore, and we don't look like a 20-year-old anymore.
No.
So there's a new reality.
Yes.
But at the same time, we want to embrace that new reality and going into it like happy. And there's good and bad to getting older, but definitely the good is that we realize we've gotten wiser.
We have gotten wiser.
You have a lot of wiseness.
I have a lot of wiseness. Thank you, Elva.
I do too. Well,
that's why I love her so much, because she tells me that I'm so wise.
But that's kind of like, what do we all face? And, but we're doing it together, and we want you to join us too. Not that we don't care about the younger voice or anything like that.
No.
But we're really kind of focused on our age group, and
which we still haven't told you our age.
No,
we will.
We will.
But thank you so much. Thank you for joining us today, and we will be on again. And like I said, today we're here together, but we won't be tomorrow. We'll be in different areas of the country, but
that's right.
But we're still going to join in, and we'll still talk. And
this has been a special time for us being together for the holiday. I don't actually remember a holiday we spent together in many, many years.
True. That is so true.
But this is, since probably maybe a New Year's, I think my parents used to drive to your town during New Year's to visit.
Yes, to the border, to Eagle Pass.
Well,
a long, long time ago.
But you don't live there anymore.
I don't live there anymore. No.
So, but I think that because we were together, we decided, how do we want to do something different and impact the world in our own way? This is our opportunity to do so. But our future videos will start to talk a little bit about, day-to-day challenges. Like I said, challenge of raising adult children, and although they don't really need us to raise them anymore, they're still our children, and so we'll talk about the pros and cons of all that, and so. And anything else, any other subject matter that comes to our mind.
And anything that you may think of. If you think of something that you would like for us to talk about or research, we'll be more than happy to do that. And we will do that.
Yes,
okay.
Definitely. And we're going to keep our videos short.
Yeah.
Always, so that we're not wasting anyone's time. But we'll look forward to the next time we see you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
All right.
Don't forget
holidays.
to subscribe and ring the bell.
Do we have a bell?
I don't know.
I don't know what that
we
is.
don't know. But if we do,
ring the bell.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
Bye.